Welcome all, welcome all. I'm your host, Sully, and I am blessed to have this wonderful guitarist and musician himself, Jeff Tortora of Blue Man Group, Bang Tango, Femmes, EWFNO, Vivisi, Tinnitus, and Vante, and Die, the movie Die Influencers Die, all here tonight.
Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon.
Well, whatever it is, yeah. Right now. Oh man, so it was a long time coming. I was familiar with Jeff's work with the Blue Man Group, and we were just all happened to be on social media, and I was just like, I need to seriously, we are a variety show, and we really do have a lot of fun doing the music themed episodes. We got to have more music talent on here to chat about their careers. So here we went.
Yeah, I said like you have quite. I was telling a friend of mine, you have quite the eclectic, guest varieties. I'm like, oh wow, it's all over the map, which is cool. Keeps it interesting.
So many people will just kind of stick to doing just their pals, and it's like, yeah, but after a while, it's just you guys, having a private conversation that somehow got recorded. Don't have your viewer be the voyeur. Let them feel welcome, be a part of the chat. Oh man, but so man, you are originally from New York. How did you get to be part of the Vegas music scene?
Yes, I was born and raised in Syracuse, New York, and in 1999, Thanksgiving, my old band, actually going to be doing a reunion soon, called the United Booty Foundation. We were playing.
I like it.
Yeah. We're doing a bunch of, there's like a disco band, but then we do some rock thrown in there as well. It was a fun time. And we used to play this place called Stylene's downtown every Thursday for years. And one of the casting agents of Blue Man at the time, Kat Gillette, was at the show. And she came up to me and said, you should audition for Blue Man Group. And I'm like, what's that? And said, it's opening a show.
Who the hell are these guys?
Yeah, what's that? Okay, what is it? And it was opening a show in Vegas in a few months. And it was already in New York, Boston, and Chicago. And it happened to be, I think it was Letterman or the Tonight Show?
That sounds about right. They were on there quite a lot.
Yeah. And it was going to be on the following week. And the first CD audio was coming out. And I'm like, all right, I'll just check it out. And I said, sure, I'm interested. And then exchanged info. And then fast forward, came up with a resume. Went to New York City and auditioned.
What year was this, by the way?
What's that?
What year was this, by the way?
Oh, one more time.
What year was this, by the way?
Oh, sorry. This was 1999.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at the end of the auditions, the end of 99.
So you're coming into this in the middle of the thick of all the grunge rock and.
Oh yeah, that was already
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I just, went down there, auditioned, and then it's like, okay, we'll let you know kind of thing. And fast forward around a couple back and forth within a month, they said, can you fly out to Vegas like tomorrow? And I'm like,
I guess I can't say no.
Then it was a couple days later, they flew me out to Vegas. They were working on the show. It was about to open in another month and a half. And I learned the show and got hired, asked if I wanted the gig. And then I moved across country. And Ben opened the show, and it opened in March of 2000, and we're still going. So I moved to Vegas. That's how that happened.
Very, very nice. Who were some of your mentors?
Oh, well, I'm always bad at that question. I mean, musically, as I think, who do I like? Or what did I, obviously there were some, but growing up, anywhere for musically was like, I guess, bands and stuff was a lot of classic rock stuff from like Queen, Zeppelin, Rush, then to more metal like Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Priest, and even heavier stuff like Korn, Pantera later, to Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, and then to whatever sound, I like soundtrack stuff, all sorts of style, as long as it's depending what mood I'm in.
Right.
And and drumming was the classics, kind of John Bonham, Neil Peart, Rush and Zeppelin drummers, and then it moved on to more fusiony like Dave Weckl, and then so whatever rock drummers, Tommy Aldridge, and it just kind of varied. Whatever style I was listening to, I would catch drummers and take something from it, and then you end up having your own style or try to do your own thing with it. I took lessons and all that drum, so I studied jazz and played rock and tried to I learned how to read and all that, but I did the school bands like symphony and orchestras and stuff like that to get a wide variety of stuff, and then just incorporate that. And I think that ends up being incorporated into your playing style, along with a variety of stuff and life in general, movies, TV, anything. It just could enter the equation.
Oh, totally. So you mentioned before in a 2014 interview with Modern Drummer how you got to meet Joey Belladonna of Anthrax, and it just kind of went more of the gigs opened up from there. I hate to ask everyone what's been their favorite when you got such a massive resume, but is there any that you're just like that's where I was at my peak, that's where I was at my height, or is it all kind of apples and oranges?
Oh, good question. But playing with Joey was for a year and a half. That was cool. I mean, it's all like people say, what's your favorite country or the place you've been to, and then you have like places, but then they all have something about them. Right. As far as that, like it's at the peak, I'll go with that. It's like actually good thing. I mean, thankfully, I think I'm still peaking or at my peak now. It's not like it's not like, oh yeah, like the Joey Belladonna area. Yeah, that was the best I was, and I just been going downhill since. Yeah. So I think music. I mean, as far as like say drumming or vocally or whatever, I think I keep getting better through the years. So I don't think I've totally peaked yet, which is good.
I mean, either way, I mean, you've been in so many groups that I ended up having to check some of them out. And I was really digging Stoney Curtis, like the Flintstones character. I was just like, oh man, this Halo of Dark Matter, this is some heavy, heavy rock. This is some fun stuff.
Totally. Oh, cool. Yeah, Stoney. Yeah, we were actually doing a gig in a couple weeks and then doing some recording. And sweet. Yeah, Stoney's great. And so, yeah, actually, yeah, I'm going to see him later today.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Still kicking. So Blue Man Group is kind of interesting because they're kind of just one giant body. We don't really know what they look like and everything. So how was that kind of for you, just doing some of the backup, acoustic work, and, you're having the three main guys do a lot of the other kind of atypical kind of music arts and acts in front of the whole crowd. How does that go about getting staged and all?
Yeah, it's a good question. Hard to fully explain unless you see the show.
Yeah, it's a total visual thing, and I get that it's very abstract, and people who aren't really artistic are going to be like, that's just weird. I'm like, well, that's kind of the point.
Right. Or, just to try to, without seeing it, trying to capture. But I mean, you can explain, like, as far as your questions, like, yes, the Bald and Blue Men, they're playing, obviously, they're the PVC pipes, they play in instruments themselves and interacting with the crowd and having their own like scenes, bits. And then we're in these lofts in glow in the dark black light, playing the music, kind of the heartbeat of the show with them. So it's just like we're part of the very important part of the show, but sometimes they're doing stuff on their own. We're just in the dark, and we're not involved then. But then when we are, it's just like there's a certain aesthetic of the show. There's music you have to learn, so there's specific parts, and it's like, the focus is on the Blue Men, and we just try to support the whole show as a entity, stylistically, and then you try to there's a certain way to play the show and move, and even certain movements to to make it visually interesting without being choreographed. Yeah, but it just automatically, as you're in blacklight, and we have these, costumes that glow in the dark. So it's a whole, it's not your typical thing. Anyways, it's not like, oh, there's Jeff up there. I mean, you see that, but it's not like you're a person with a name on there. It's
kind of like when you see a famous composer, you're part of the orchestra, but people see just the composer.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, you can be, like the Blue Man. No, it's not a name either. It's just these characters, and then we're our own character, like above them in the loft, and it just all intertwines with each other. But yeah, we're not acting out skits and stuff like the Blue Man are. So we're supporting them.
Nice.
In their journey.
But what are some tips and tricks that you recommend for just others about just the whole music touring scene? Because there's so many talents and so many you would find out years later in just interviews how they just couldn't wrap their head around touring. That just wasn't for them, but that's how you meet all these cool people and get all these gigs and get paid. And
well,
what do you recommend for those besides just having a lot of patience and getting ready to roll?
Well, on that, it's I mean, yeah, it depends. It's multifaceted question on like what level. I mean, touring, you don't have like I'm lucky to be in like say a show like Blue Man Group because it's been 23 years next month of
right,
a steady gig and a great gig. With I mean everything, the show, the people, and you get paid to do it. And you have enough room to do other stuff. So that has led me, and I've done world tours with Blue Man. So I kind of had the best of both. Like I get to go out and do a tour and then come back to the Vegas show. And nice. I do other stuff as well, which I'll go out for like 3 days, 4 days with other bands. And get the time off from Blue Man, if it works out where I can get it off. And I mean, I'm lucky to be in Blue Man too, because people know what it is. Most people, it's been around, it's worldwide for many years now. Mm-hmm. So people come in town and you could kind of connect, oh, you're in Blue Man, and you get to meet and network with people in the business that way, because it's easier than say if you're just in a local band that no one knows of.
Who the hell are you guys? Yeah.
So it's an easier thing once you're in an established thing to network and meet people. But obviously you do that at any level. So, I mean, touring is tough for people starting out, especially now. I think, you could not make any money, lose money, or you can make money. That's how like a only way, because you're not really selling records these days with streaming and everything. So you have to tour. So some people don't, you could get caught up in the mundaneness of just driving 7-8 hours and then, doing a gig, and then just becomes, depends on what level of touring you're doing. Groundhog Day, you're getting the perils of, abuse, substance abuse, or you got to have a good head on your shoulders, I think. And some people just don't like it. They'd rather be home.
Right.
So I think, but if you do want to make a career at it and you're in something that can tour, then hopefully you will end up liking it somewhat, because that's how you're making your living. Or you try to do something in a town where you can gig multiple times a week. I just say in general, for a performing musician, you have to network, get yourself out there, find out wherever you're at, what the spot is to be. Say maybe where musicians do a jam or something like that, and get out there and try to play, and then just meet people. And then it's a small world, and then you could just start, your networking. So some people are good at it, some aren't. So
right.
I think you got to have talent, one, and hopefully have a good attitude and be a likable person, but be yourself. And you gotta get out there and just meet people, because that's how it just snowballs year after year. The more people you meet, the more opportunities present themselves. If not, no one's gonna know who you are, and there you go.
Absolutely.
Then you could just make music at your house or whatever.
Yeah, and just say, hey, it's on Spotify, but don't expect me to go anywhere if you're gonna just do just that.
So yeah, so you got to kind of put yourself out there. and meet people. That's a huge, that's like half of it is networking, I think.
Absolutely. So Vegas has so many different great places, including the Brooklyn Bowl, the Rush Lounge, and Mayfair Supper Club, and Delilah. What have been some of your favorite clubs to perform at?
Yeah, I just went to Delilah's recently. That was cool. I guess it has one in LA too. Very fancy. I should play the rock clubs. One of my favorites is Counts Vamped. Danny Coker, the Count of Counting Cars, a show on History Channel, Counting Cars. A friend of mine has that's his place.
Sweet.
His wife Corey, and they has a recording studio, tattoo shop, bunch of stuff. Super cool. But that's playing there next February 11th with Bang Tango, and then the 18th with my band I sing in, Tinnitus. So that's probably my favorite place there, because I've been doing that for many years. And then Brooklyn Bowl's cool. We started off at this place called the Dive Bar. Geez, played backstage bar and billiards. There's there's a bunch of places that are, depending on that, you could do a corporate gig, and that could be fun. But I said that's because I'm mainly doing the Sand Dollars, another place. There's a couple locations.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what people with Stony. So there's a few places that are cool. More than a few.
Sweet. What gets you up in the morning in general, though? Like, where you're just like, I really want to do this today, or try this kind of artistic edit on this tune that we performed last night or recorded.
I like to
what just starts the creative cycle? What gets you up? And how do you interweave that with personal life?
Oh, well, as far as that, like most of the time, like this is like I'm doing this now, this podcast in the afternoon, but usually as far as working on stuff, say besides, gigging, something like if I want to work on a song, work on some originals.
Right.
Like I have my band VVC that I sing in and write a lot of it and do drums, and and the other one, like Elliot Waits for No One, I'm involved in that. But I'd say like usually for me it's, or like today I have to do a recording session that would be like at 7 p.m. Or if I have Blue Man, I go to Blue Man in the afternoon. It's usually for me late night if I'm working on writing stuff. It's usually like 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Hey, I love it.
That's when I'm working on usually song ideas. Is like after
I love
midnight.
being a night owl too. There's something about it. It's just like, it's kind of, I don't know how much of it is just the forbidden. Now that you're an adult, you don't have parents telling you, hey, go to sleep. It's just the whole, I just stay up, I work against the grind. It sounded good. And then you wait till the next day and you're like, oh, wow, was I high? Well, why did I think that was great at 2 a.m?
Well, it's funny you say that. It's like ridiculous. Like you used to think like I always wanted to stay up later when I was younger. And my parents like a lot of times now you got to go to bed. And so then it's like I'm still rebelling.
Right. Even though there's no one to rebel against. It's just
it's like you've been on your own for decades. And I still, but I love, it is something cool about it. Seems like you're in your own space, the only one around. But I do like getting up early, but it doesn't kind of work out that way because you need sleep. And then it's like, oh Absolutely. Man, I slept, the day's feeling gone, and it gets so dark here at like 4:20 p.m. It's dark, man. Whatever. And it's like I like getting up early. It's nice, but it just, the reality is every time I try, I end up going, I'm going to bed early. Like going to bed early for me is like 3:30 in the morning, which doesn't even happen. So it's like 4:30, 5:30. So,
absolutely.
The forbidden
the forbidden fruit. Yeah. Pandora's box. Oh man. And so when you've been in this recent B picture that's got a lot of B movie actors and adult film stars, how did that come about?
That came about, and we did another one recently too. It's cool.
It was crowdfunded and everything, and it just seems like a fun throwback to earlier slashers, and
Yeah, actually, it was Gary Arona, friend, Gary and Tabitha Stevens. They're married, and they actually funded it themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. They've
Don't
all
they?
been into all kinds of experimental photography and erotica. And so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tabitha's been doing that for years. Gary's been doing films and for TV documentaries for decades. And as you said, yeah. So and and it's great photography, has hundreds and hundreds of artwork available. Savage Territory is great stuff. And they're both awesome. So I was doing this thing called Monday's Dark in Vegas, which is a charity. This gentleman by the name of Mark Schnook runs, and it's every other week. It's been the 9th year now, every other Monday, and they raise 10 grand for a different charity every week. And so it's a cool thing. And I was I've done it a few times. That's what I was singing. So I sang Enter Sandman by Metallica. And I was doing that, and then in the middle section it goes, now I lay me down to sleep. Now, I put on this leather gimp mask, like this leather bondage type mask, and sang that section. And then I took it off and went into the rest of the song. And then after the show, my friend Scotty's like, I was talking to him, and I noticed Tabitha and we were talking somehow, and he goes, yeah, those friends of mine, it's Tabitha Stevens. I'm like, oh, I know what Tabitha is. And he said, you want to, and that's her husband, Gary, they do films. And I said, you want to meet? I'm like, yeah, for sure. So I went over there and introduced me, and we started chatting, and they said, we have a movie, The Die Influencers Die, and you'd be perfect for this like photographer, producer, killer guy. And I said, we saw you perform, and no audition necessary. If you want to do it, read the script and let us know. So it's one of the things.
No need to audition, baby.
Seeing me just perform, and they saw something like, oh, that kind of guy would probably be great for this. And that's just like that.
Even better. No bullshit. Just make something fun with friends.
Any easier.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Tabitha's been on Howard Stern a few times. Have you ever thought of being on his show?
Oh yes, he's been on
a dozen times. Like, hey, Tabitha, hey, Jeff's here. He's got some funny stories to talk about on satellite radio.
So yeah, she's been on tons. And then another friend of mine, Craig Gass, comedian, he's worked with Howard Stern a bunch. So I mean, sure, I would. I don't know if you'd have me on there, but yeah, of course, it'd be fun. Maybe some point, someday.
Totally.
But yeah, so yeah, we did another movie, Head on a Plate, with Gary and and gonna hopefully do some more. We are going to do some more. So we'll see when that ends up happening. And I'm working on another short film as well with one of my Blue Man buds and some other friends. And I'm gonna start to pursue the acting, more and more. Another form of entertainment.
Go for it.
All right. I will. Thanks.
I know.
No. I'm going to see. No. You inspired me.
What are some other upcoming events that you have planned for a while, and you're just ready to just unleash or hint at it?
Well, wait, my schedule is to say next few months. Blue Man, I do like 7 shows a week.
7 shows a week, man.
So that's and I got a Stoney Curtis gig the Sand Dollar, February 15th, February 10th with Bang Tango at the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA, headlining there. And then the February 11th at Counts Vamped in Vegas. And then February 18th with my band Tinnitus in Counts Vamped in Vegas. Probably work on some movie stuff in the meantime, and some originals. And then March, I got the Femmes of Rock that I play with. We're doing a couple gigs. I think it might be Illinois. I have to look at the schedule.
Sweet.
So that's the that's quite some stuff coming up.
Absolutely. Do you know a lot of the music notes and even lyrics by heart on occasion, because you cram so much of it in, but it's a lot of repetition?
Well, yeah, a lot of it I know like Blue Man, been doing it so long, so many shows that got that. I know that's already ingrained, and a lot of stuff
5 got it.
A lot of the stuff is, but some of the stuff like the Stony gig I'll be doing, it's like, oh, I haven't done an actual live show with Stony in like a few years. So it's like, you do like maybe a year goes by or a couple of years and I'll sub in with Stony. So I'll have to definitely go over a bunch of stuff. And this tinnitus thing, there's a couple new songs. So lyrics are a pain in the ass for me to memorize. So I got to, memorize some lyrics and go over the songs you haven't done in a year or two and just refresh your memory. And the Bang Tango stuff, same thing. It's like, okay, know most of it, but there's some stuff you have to fine tune. And so there's definitely a decent amount of prep, even though know a decent amount, and then a decent amount of work as well.
Totally.
So sometimes a year goes by or 2 years go by or 3, and they're like, oh, did that song once, And then with everything else you have going on, it tends to sometimes can stick, and sometimes, you have to spend some hours refreshing.
Stellar. How would you describe a lot of your influences and even thematic material?
Influence, and what was the last part you said?
Just the thematic material that you use for your song styles.
Song style. Yeah, like the band Vivasi in particular is usually kind of heavier, crazier, somewhat dark. So I like stuff. Yeah, I like all sorts of styles, but I tend to like stuff that has contrast. Like it could be very mellow and soundtracky or surreal, like sounding like atmospheric, but then gets super, kind of like really powerful and heavy, and maybe a little bit weird.
No, that's part of the fun.
So kind of not too many rules or limits, so that therefore sometimes it could be like all over the place stylistically. It's like, wait, keep it in this style. But that's why they usually have like, oh, this could be in that band, this could be in that band, this could be in that band. Like our band Elliot Waits for No One has like, it's rock, but it has like maybe 8 different kind of styles within the band, like acoustic stuff, than just a more of a straight ahead rock song, and then something more with a different. I mean, it's kind of has a lot of variety to it, which I like.
It naturally evolves instead of just we're just making it up,
Well, there's stuff that naturally evolves to, yes, you said before, like 2 a.m, like I've done stuff working on something, I'm like, oh, that sucks, that's terrible, I hate it. And then you delete it maybe, or the next day you're like, okay, let me get rid of this, and all of a sudden something just comes up in your head out of the blue, and that's what you end up 2 weeks later, and it's the good idea. So sometimes it can be frustrating because you're like, oh man, I suck, this is terrible. And then you realize you got to go through it and just keep working at it, or step away from it and then come back to it, and all of a sudden, boom,
close to it.
You have an idea, and then that's the one that at least seems good.
Right. Other times you got to just say, hey, it is what it is. I'll let you guys critique it for what it is or isn't.
Well, you're right. Other times it's like, all right, it's not like you're not creating the Last Supper here or something. It's I mean, it is what it is. Some pieces or forms of, say, in a song in general, it's like, okay, this is what this song is. Either get rid of it, or it is what it is, and just move on to another one. Because obviously, not everything everyone writes is a genius, or is like, oh my god, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. Of course, it's usually like, that's great. That one's either sucks or is mediocre or it's good. But everything is not like a brilliant piece of work.
Yeah. Anything, if you listen to it too much, you can even dissect and be like, what are we listening to, or why do I like this? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's all subjective too. A lot of it, obviously.
Too much.
Like, not everyone likes the same stuff. You think that sucks, but 20 million other people love it.
Right. Everyone got paid, so it really just doesn't matter.
Well, yeah,
it does, but it doesn't. I mean, overall, better luck next time.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I love performing and playing, so I'll do plenty of stuff, and if it pays, great. I don't care what it is necessarily. Well, that's not true, but usually everything I do, I enjoy. But if it's your own thing, then you are a little more close to it. Like, well,
you want to do better either way, but at the same time,
for your own stuff. But
yeah,
and sometimes it is like just like whatever. Just move on to the next thing. It's plenty of stuff to do.
Would you say a lot of just audiences? I mean, they're opening up now because there's just so many behind the scenes documentaries and stuff that's gone viral that's given them an inside scoop that they didn't have 30 years ago. But, people could really benefit, I think, or at least would you say so, from just like touring a recording studio and just seeing what makes all this magic that people pay millions just to go see every year? Could audiences really benefit from just continually just studying what makes everything tick?
Well, yeah, now you have, there's an overload of everything in the world, but a lot of it could be, as once again, there's that balance of like technology drives me crazy because something's not working, but then it has this stuff that's so amazing with it as well. And but actually that stuff, really, you could look at, there's plenty of stuff that really give you an insight more than you never knew, like how was this made, film, or like behind the scenes, the director's talking about it, or music, like here's how it was recorded, and someone's actually, you could see anything and pretty much get involved. The mystique is gone now. That's kind of a bummer. I always like the mystique is gone with everything's out there, but it's also cool. I mean, because you could, there's so much learning opportunity just by looking stuff up, or listening, watching, or by and then if something's not good, then you can learn from that too. Oh, okay, I know what not to do. And then and if something is there's so much information out there, and you just take that, I'm sure you absorb it, and then with your own mind, your own doings as well. And yes, it's there's much more available now than ever, as you know.
Totally. Would you describe yourself as a special kind of musician?
I think, I guess I have my own thing.
Or magician.
I mean, magician. I do. I am
right, because you got your own set of magic tricks that behind the scenes. That
well, you meant.
I meant magician because kind of a play on how you're in Vegas, which is very heavy with magicians, but and magic shows. But since you do all the stuff behind the scenes, and again, you want it to really stand out, would you say you're a special kind of magician altogether?
I mean, and there's so many people, that are gigging or performing or whatever on a variety of levels. So it's cool to explore a lot of different facets, I think. But I think everyone, I guess I have my own thing, and maybe my style, say, of performing is that's what you strive. I mean, hopefully you have your, you could adapt to whatever, say the gig, whatever kind of gig it is needs. That's important. You have to do that. And then if you have your own voice as well, then obviously that could separate you for certain projects. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's that line where, like, you can have, there's people that can just adapt to any situation, and that's great. But maybe they don't have their own voice. And then someone that has their own voice maybe doesn't get as many gigs on certain things, but then they get these certain things that could propel them to another level because it's unique. It's their thing. They're only, no one could, copy their style. So that could be, a really great benefit. I don't know. So I tried a combination of me. I think I could adapt to a lot of stuff, but then hopefully have my own thing, which, will keep, escalating through the years.
Very neat. Very, very neat. Altogether, what have been some other favorite areas to tour besides Vegas?
Oh, well, yeah, there's that question where there's everywhere usually is interesting, but I've been lucky to travel a lot of places around the world, from South America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa. So, I mean, New Zealand, Australia. Yeah, I said South Africa, went to China for a few months and
Oh, wow.
Singapore, Russia,
Man.
Argentina, Brazil. And so, I mean, I don't know, every place was an experience, of course, but found something really cool about kind of everywhere. Prague, there's some places that are like really beautiful, and then some places that are just cool city, and other places are interesting in other ways. So there's been so many. All of them have some uniqueness to them. And in the States too. States or Canada, has been, I mean, and now, like, now I don't travel out of the country as much. I'm mainly in the States doing the Blue Man show here in Vegas. But I'll go out of town, I said, for like, 2 or 3 days or 4 days or something like that every month or every few months. And that's just kind of cool, even if you're not in somewhere so exotic or exciting, but it's just like, it's fresh and it keeps it exciting, doing something different and just being somewhere else for a day or two.
Which area are you dying to just revisit? You're just like, I escaped the world so much that day. I must go back.
Yeah, there's a lot that it's like, oh man, Prague was really cool. South Africa was cool. New Zealand. I have to go back to Paris. I don't know, man. I suck at this question too because there's so many. But I know there's, I'm not giving it to you, but I know there's more of a.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
What would be a specific?
However deep you want to get, that's.
Or there's a place probably I'd like to go back and Switzerland was beautiful. To like maybe some of the regions I was, but there was a couple areas I didn't get to go see out there, so I'd probably explore something newer.
Very nice.
Or that's something I didn't go to because I got to see this. I was like, okay, try this region, or this island. But
very neat. How's the family at home, and have they been pretty supportive of your various efforts?
Oh yeah, my family's in all my family's in New York still, but yeah, I talked to my parents yesterday, and they always been supportive of my drumming. Got me drums, and since I was a little kid, and me and my older brother Jim used to play together all the time when we were, second, third, fourth grade, fifth grade at home. So they always been supportive of my career, and this was always what I was planning to do. This is the backup plan.
Absolutely. In which case, this is the only plan. So
yeah,
let's make it work. Let's make it stick.
Entertainment. Yeah. So this is the only plan still.
Oh man. Have you ever thought of doing a mock? I don't know why I'm asking this. I'm just tempted because you just seemed like such a cool variety and diverse guy. Have you ever thought of doing a fun YouTube show where you Sammy Hagar kind of did this, where he would tour various places where famous bands had played. Have you ever thought of just actually interviewing other musicians on kind of a TikTok or YouTube type show if you had free time?
Yeah, I know because a lot of my friends say you should do this.
So much. You've been with so many.
My younger brother Joe said you should do this thing. Oh yeah, you should have your own channel and do this or do that. And then so that's always in the ideas are always in I get from people or myself. And as far as that, I know a lot of friends, musician friends that interview. Another friend Troy just asked me to do a podcast probably next week or something. Like
sweet.
He's a drummer too.
It's so a podcast month, maybe.
Yeah, I know. It's like a Wednesday at 3. I'm like, I'm doing a Wednesday at 3 now. and a lot of musician friends are doing that as well. And I know because then I don't know because you have to really keep up on it. And I'm sure probably be involved. Like okay, all the writing that has to just be up on it. Constantly, kind of another job-ish in a way. I could be cool, but that stuff I'd rather. It'd be great if someone else could do all that, and I could just do the content.
Right. I'll give you the content. Yeah, I need 5 editors here now.
Yeah, like that stuff. Like
But I only have a budget for 2, so
so yeah, so so I don't know. I can't say and like like TikTok and all that stuff. I mean, I'll post on Instagram or Facebook like, here's my next gig. I usually keep it to the business and like, here's this or here's a thing. So I'm like, I should do it more. Good, but then really getting involved, as you said, doing a thing. I don't know. I can't say no, but we'll see. In the
do you think any new music sites are going to take off and kind of render Bandcamp and Spotify useless?
Oh, any new like platform?
Yeah, kind of like how MySpace was there before, but it never took off.
I just talked about the other day. It was like the thing, millions of millions, then instantly goes away.
Oh, totally.
When Facebook, I mean, it'd be great if, I mean, even though I'm guilty of using them all the time, they didn't exist, and people bought music, and then the bands could make money. But
exactly.
Or I mean, of course, that's never going to probably happen because there's a whole generation of people that grew up just with like Spotify and iTunes and all that, and I use it myself. I don't know. I guess I just wish there could be more of a balance between say these platforms having them, but also people being able to make a little bit more money than
a little more instead of
like a million streams and you made $95 or whatever it is. So I mean, it's great to have that avenue, of course, that you couldn't have before, that anyone could get anything out there, but at the same time anyone could get anything out there. So it's so saturated. And then there's so you could do it yourself, which is you could never do before, really. I mean,
but now you got to work harder to make yourself stand out. It's like, damn it.
And there's so much. So yeah. So I don't know. I want to be interesting to see the next 5 years what comes up.
Or be 5 other things besides Snapchat or TikTok.
Yeah, like what that next thing is going to happen. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but
just enjoy the paradise.
Engage
of apocalypse.
Destruction of mankind.
Any other bands of friends of yours that you'd like to plug? Everyone helps everyone out, So
I mentioned Stoney, is working on a record now. Probably out in a few months. I said my band BBC keeps making stuff. We got a song called "You Should Be Fine" in the Die Influencers Die movie, and Elliot Waits for No One, Vante. I see Femmes of Rock, Blue Man. I'm trying to think what else I'm trying to. I mean, of course, there's a lot of friends that have.
If Blue Man does another documentary, I take it we can probably see you in there somewhere.
Oh, well, I'd be flattered. That'd be cool. I actually did a thing for Modern Drummer magazine recently with Blue Man and Modern Drummer. It did a whole piece of our rig setup. That was like a month ago, came out. So that was fun to do. So
okay, very cool.
That was that's out there. So that was happy to be able to do that. I was trying to think what else I do. And then I guess I got my website, jefftortora.com.
Right.
I got other friends, bands, Sons of Jupiter, Cold Red Riot. I'm trying to think. There's some stuff.
Very nice. Very neat. But altogether, I mean, I applaud you for just being so energetic and active on social media and just relentless at all this fun stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, got to keep it. I operate better in life, keeping, busier with the projects than when not. My house doesn't get cleaned.
Yeah, well, they'll have a budget for a housekeeper soon. So,
but that's I have someone, Martha, my friend. She's great. I just said it's beyond. things get, sidetracked with other stuff. It's like, I could clean this, but I don't have to. But I should.
There you go.
So.
Well, I appreciate you, man. And it's
All right.
so much fun. And just, again, we like talking to just professionals, not just to, we want to give you some fun nostalgia trips and a pat on the back, but we also do want to applaud those who, stick with it and have made it their career, shared a little advice, and then just, again, taking us on this journey. So,
cool.
thanks
Thanks
for stopping by.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Okay.
We'll return after these messages.
Hello and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. Join us every Tuesday as we discuss movies, TV, games, and even music, new and old.
Dude, what do you think you're doing?
Are you seriously trying to record a promo without us right now?
Well, yeah.
Dude, you can't just do the promo by yourself. Who's gonna listen to that?
Yeah, and you probably haven't even told them that we're a pop culture podcast where we always agree on everything. For instance, the Sam Raimi trilogy, easily being the best of the Spider-Man movies.
No. But I think we can all agree that Jaws is a classical masterpiece.
Nope, don't like that. But we do all agree that the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is the best in the Skywalker saga, right, guys?
That comment is so ridiculous. I don't even know where to
Anyways, that'll do it from all of us here at Culture Shock. Thanks for listening.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
We let things pile up in the DVR. We add them to our queues. We wait for the DVDs and Blu-rays. We time shift. The Time Shifters Podcast. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, superheroes, comedy, action, film, television, maybe some not-so-current events. Find us on iTunes or at timeshifterspodcast.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US, we are in the UK, we are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show.